Okay, I got that kind of that focal flower. I got that dry. I have my brush loaded just with yellow. So I'm gonna come in here. When I put more pressure on, I start by standing my brush up on the ice skate edge. I kind of skate it around, then I put the pressure, and then I pull my brush back up onto the skating edge, the skating blade. It takes a little practice, but you will get it. It's also totally fine to just do all of your lining using the ice skate blade. You don't have to push it down and give it more pressure and make those fatter petals. So see, look how beautiful. And to me, what makes it pretty is all those different layers of paint. That is what is beautiful to me. So I'm gonna let that layer dry, and while that's drying, I'm gonna work on this rose. My next layer on this, I'll have a clean brush that won't have orange in it, and I will do just yellow. And then I will do a layer of yellow with a little white in it. So we build these flowers up slowly with a lot of layers of color. So now with my darker red roses, this is the primary red with a little black in it. I'm gonna load just the primary red for my first layer. The other thing is all of our flowers, the center can kind of be dead in the center, or it doesn't have to be exactly in the center. So I'm gonna try with this one, I think, to make the center down here. So a little lower. That one's kind of almost like bullseye in the middle. So I'm gonna try intentionally to put this center in a little different spot, because if we went out and look, I accidentally put my brush into a little bit of yellow, but I think that's pretty. I'm sure it will end up getting covered up, but so the center of our flower is usually tighter, and then as we come out here, I'm gonna try to make my petals a little looser. I had a little too much paint in my brush that time. Okay, so now this needs to dry, but while this is drying, I'm going to work on one of my, what I consider to be a pinker rose. So still, my first layer is gonna be this primary red. And that's really not even hardly gonna show up for you guys. But I'm just kind of doing these C shapes. All right. I'm gonna let that dry. I'm gonna go ahead and wash my brush out. I wanna show you how to do all three colors, and then I'm gonna pause my film. I'm gonna go ahead and finish my flowers, and then we'll come back on to do our highlights, our little black centers, and to put some greenery around our flowers. But just for time's sake for the video, I'm going to show you how to totally complete the yellow, the redder, and then the pinker rose. So this rose is now dry. I have a clean brush. Now I'm going to load with just yellow. And if you like painting flowers, I love painting flowers. There's so many really good artists out there. You can just search, flower painting with acrylics on YouTube, and you will find amazing artists. Sometimes if I go to bed and I'm just not quite tired yet, I will just find a really good art class, really, somebody doing something like this, and watch it, because just watching, you really do pick up on different things that you can try the next time you paint. All right, so that was a layer of just yellow. So you can see that I keep layering paint, but I don't layer it so heavy that I completely lose those layers of color that are underneath. So I'm gonna let that dry. This, I got the paint pretty thick. I'm gonna go back to my pink rose. I think my paint was thinner and it's drier. So on this rose, I am going to load my brush with the bright red. Let me find it. True red, just a brighter red. And I'm gonna see if that gives me a contrast. Not much, so I'm gonna load that bright red with a little bit of my pink. I'm gonna load it heavier with pink. And really, there is no rhyme or reason to, I'm sure probably somebody who, has really taken some art classes and learned more than I have, probably would maybe have some different techniques for painting the roses. But to me, I like the way these look, and it's really not hard. Okay, so we have another layer to our pink rose. I'm gonna wash my brush out. All of the red, pink roses are going to be very similar, but I don't want them to be exactly the same. I want to have a little contrast here in my flower box. So I'm going to go back to this rose, but I'm going to blow dry it really quick.